right, welcome back to another episode of Unsinkable Theory, a show where we talk about our favorite movies and moments, and then we decide if they are sinkable or unsinkable. What did we just watch, guys?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I believe the 9th Quentin Tarantino film.
Is it 9th or 8th?
9.
Oh, yeah, because Hateful Eight, that makes sense.
Yes.
2 hours, 45 minutes.
It was a journey.
We probably could have shaved off 45 of those minutes. It felt like a Scorsese film.
I thought it was fun. I was really interested in the characters. I would honestly go watch another movie starring Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio in these roles because it was just hilarious.
They were really good.
Buddy
They were good by
film.
They were good by themselves. They were good together too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite parts was just seeing them put them into these old movies.
Oh yeah.
Like and how it looks
the
so
cheesy
good.
insert.
Yeah, like seeing the other movies that Leonardo DiCaprio was in, I thought was kind of like the best part, or the other TV shows.
Yeah.
And how they just made it look like it was from that era. It's like seeing the new people in that era. It's like I thought that was the best part. Like
That was funny.
It was hilarious too. I really like I said, the buddy dynamic, and then the flashbacks. There was one flashback with Brad Pitt where he's remembering why this guy Randy wouldn't want him to be the stuntman.
With his
and that whole scene, it's kind of like useless. It could have been a much shorter flashback, but I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, you're talking about the whole
done.
thing with like Bruce Lee and all that?
Yeah. So it was like a 20-minute flashback almost, and then it just cuts back to him on the roof, and he's like,
it was a flashback.
He's just like, oh yeah.
Well, at first I didn't think it was a flashback. I thought maybe he just went down to the lot and he was now hanging out.
It was something different.
And then I was like, well, wait, I thought he was playing a cowboy, but now he's like in a suit, like Leonardo DiCaprio when he's in his trailer. I was like, okay, I'm not a director. I don't know what's going on.
It really did have that Tarantino sort of vibe where you're like, kind of the whole time you're like, what the hell is going on?
What are we doing?
But then it all eventually starts to make sense.
Second act was easily the weakest part. Third act was good.
That time jump was the start of the third act. Wasn't it?
Everything in the middle, like that whole part when Sharon's watching her own movie, they could cut that entire part out.
Yeah, that was strange.
When because she's not even a main character.
Right, she wasn't even that big a part of the movie. It was really just a buddy movie.
I think it was there to make you think it was about her, that they were gonna go kill them. Oh, like it actually happened.
Like
possibly, maybe I wasn't convinced because the second they went to Rick's house, I was like, well,
yeah. As soon as they decided to go to Rick's, but for a second, I still thought they were going to.
No, he said to go to Terry's old house.
Yeah,
that was the plan for them.
Yeah,
to go
but then Rick came out and he was yelling at them with his marg.
Yeah,
his big old blender full of margarita.
Yeah.
And then he cooked one of them.
So the girl that ran away in the car, she was in Stranger Things
season 3.
Yeah,
Robin.
Yeah,
I was wondering.
Pretty good. I thought she was pretty good in Stranger Things.
Because she looked familiar. I was like, is that Robin?
And then Squeaky, the redhead at Spawn Ranch, was Dakota Fanning.
How?
Don't see it at all. Insane.
Keep talking. I gotta look this up.
Wikipedia.
Dakota. I don't believe you.
It's true, but $90 million budget.
Yeah.
And the film has made. This is a week post release. Film has made $51 million. Do you think it will hit at least its budget?
That's not a good weekend. That's not a good opening weekend. If they're only at 50 after a week, but they'll look at their budget back. I see it not making any more than 300 though, total.
What's that to say about Tarantino's future with big studios? Do you think they're going to pick him up as easily and give him these big budget movies?
Well, he's only got one more, right? He said he's making 10.
Yeah, I totally believe. Remember, there was that whole thing. He got kicked out of his last studio, and like he was not worried at all because like any other studio will gladly take a Tarantino film.
Right.
I don't know. It just. Oh, I just wish it was shorter.
Those margins get smaller though.
I wish it was. I didn't like it being 2 hours and 45 minutes. It could have been an hour and 45 minutes and still have been a really funny, good movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
Quentin Tarantino movie.
Right.
I totally would go see another movie. Maybe just a movie where they're fucking digging around in
Cliff
Italy and
Booth?
Spain,
I think the biggest
making those spaghetti westerns.
I think the biggest thing is getting Brad and Leo in another movie together.
Yeah.
I think that was the best part. Because
I don't think it would be hard.
they can easily both carry a movie. They've done plenty of movies where they've been the lead. But
Yeah.
then they can also co-lead.
Right.
know?
I almost forgot. Like, there was times where I was like, okay, this is obviously a Tarantino film. But I was, like, almost just, like, forgetful that it was a Tarantino film until the break-in. And then things, like,
I
all
can see
that intensity and suspense just exploded, you know, in the last, like, 10 minutes of the movie.
That was so funny. Like,
And it was just like, okay, I'm watching a Tarantino movie.
When he walked to the door with that can, I knew that can was getting. I'm sure everyone else knew, but I knew that can was getting thrown at someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
this dude just went like, I'm not tripping anymore. I'm a proficient fighter. I can beat up anybody.
Well, you saw him kick ass earlier in the movie too.
He's a war hero.
That
man,
was
dude.
also funny too. That he was like not beating up Bruce Lee, but he was fighting Bruce Lee
Yeah.
and not getting his butt whooped.
Right. They had to make him look like a badass.
I
They had
guess.
to establish that. I did think that was a good point too, to kind of subvert your expectations a little bit with putting some emphasis on Sharon Tate, making it think that it was sort of that story.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it's right in the title, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That almost, it's like a fairy tale of
What could have
Yeah.
been.
that tragic.
I did not like Margot
Happening.
Robbie as Sharon Tate. Did you guys know what Sharon Tate looked like before this movie?
I mean, I've seen
I-
it. I didn't
did.
remember.
One, I mean, I think she had changed her hair by the time she was killed to blonde, but way too blonde. Didn't look anything like her.
I guess
Margot
I would have to see
Robbie's-
some photos to compare.
Like Sharon Tate wasn't like fat or anything, but she wasn't Margot Robbie skinny. So I don't know.
Was that
I feel like they
actually
could've-
Sharon Tate in the footage of the film?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say that didn't look anything like Margot Robbie, so I
yeah,
was like, okay,
that was
that's
the real
obviously
Sharon
the real
Tate
Sharon
in the
Tate.
movie she was watching. Yeah,
Which I thought
and,
was really
and
cool
that makes
too.
it very obvious. It's like these two don't even look remotely
Right.
similar, and they just put her in there because she's
Star power.
so hot right now.
So hot right
So hot right
Is she hot right
now. Is
now?
there anything you guys like specifically didn't like?
I mean,
Like,
other than the
like real
length,
specific, or
other than the length, and you know,
I
nothing
mean,
really.
really,
I mean,
other than the length, too.
that was a big one. The length, and then I just didn't like Margot Robbie as that character. I
Right.
like her as an actress.
but at its core, like I said, I'm just gonna hammer this point. The buddy, the Brad Pitt, the Leo. It was great.
was
That's
weird.
what made this movie for me.
It was
that.
weird to like, because they both had like their own story, even though they were connected.
Right.
You know, they were literally connected by this car, but they each had their own story, which was just different enough. But I feel like it kind of hurt it in the middle of the movie, because you got like three different stories going on. So you got Brad, you got Leo, you got Margot's story, all going on at the same time, and I don't know. It just felt like kind of like jumpy. If that makes any sense.
Well,
I
it's
feel like
just
they cut, and then
they
I
cut
guess if
out
you-
the
if you
Margot
wanna-
story.
if you want to consider the Manson family being a fourth story, so you got four stories going on in one movie. During the
I would
middle,
say the
during middle
Manson
act.
story is connected to Brad Pitt's story.
Yeah, I
that
guess
it's
it
the same
depends
one.
on how much you want to separate it, but
That could have almost been a movie in itself.
but in the middle, it was just in the middle that it was just like there's a lot going on. Can we kind of reel this in a little bit? And then obviously at the end they reeled it all in
Yeah,
when they
it's almost like he could have
killed
made
the hippies.
his own like two different movies. Like had the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood fairy tale version of the Manson murders,
Mm-hmm.
and then had this whole other movie about Leonardo DiCaprio being
That would have been
a
cool,
failing,
like a double feature.
or like an actor that was going down this spiral.
That's a cool idea. So if they took Brad and Leo and had it one movie, and you know it was in the same universe, all the stuff going on, but then
Right.
you had like the Manson family and Sharon and Roman and Jay and all them gone
And
at the same
Cliff.
time, and then like
They
they
converge.
kind of meet.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seemed
That's a
like
cool
it
idea.
just seemed like Leo's story could have been its own movie, and it would have been a movie I would have went and watched and
I think
enjoyed.
it is supposed to be a movie. I think the Sharon and Tate and Raymond Polanski stuff is only there to keep it in line that this is what was happening before they died. Like, I think it's just supposed to be there because that's just the backdrop. That's the backdrop he wanted this. You're right. You could have take the Leo and Brad Pitt movie, and you could have done it anything. You could have done anything, any time period. He just wanted it to be backdropped against the
reality.
the murders of those murders.
Right.
And then the once upon a time part is that they didn't die.
Right.
Which going into this, I thought it would be a lot different just because I remember the trailers. I remember the very first trailer for this I ever saw. There was a whole scene where Brad and Leo are in a car and it like rolls off one of the Hollywood hills. It's a big car accident.
I never saw that part.
I
think you
remember
might
that.
be imagining
No, I
that.
remember that. And then there's another one where I remember Brad Pitt's having his fit, maybe in the trailer, or maybe it's right at the beginning after he talks.
Oh,
to
where
that
he
guy.
ruins his lines. I remember that part.
Or
That was Leo.
yeah, I said it, Leo, and there's a part where he's like, how can I fucking get jobs when I live the goddamn next to Sharon Tate? And how like she was a super hot actress. So
Oh,
I
I
was in
never saw
another
that.
trailer. So I
You've
always
been watching a lot of trailers.
What's just the simple trailers they showed?
One trailer rule, always.
I didn't see that many trailers.
Well, there was
but I
the
knew I wanted to
original
see
teaser
it.
trailer that was them falling off the cliff a couple of years ago, or a year or two ago, and then there was the one actual.
You were
full
watching
trailer.
teasers
That
for
was
this a
in
year
front of
ago?
movies.
I need to watch more YouTube. I didn't even know there was a trailer from a year ago.
Yeah, there was a trailer from a long time ago. They rolled down a cliff. And then there's another trailer where he's like complaining about Sharon Tate, living next to Sharon Tate, and he's a failing actor. So I always kind of thought that Brad Pitt's character met up with the Manson family and gave them the idea to go kill Sharon Tate.
Oh.
See, this is why I don't like watching trailers. Because you'd be thinking all this weird
Yeah,
shit.
well, I mean-
and then it never happens. You're like, oh, I wish that
The
happened.
one trailer that I watched.
Ignorance is bliss.
You know, I really saw that scene in my mind at Spawn Ranch going differently. Like him finding that old guy all dead
Yeah.
or something.
I like
that's
that.
where I thought that was leading. And it was just kind of weird.
Well, I was trying to remember. I was like, because I've read all about the Manson family. I was like, were they at the Spawn Ranch? Was there actually a guy named George Spawn? I'm like trying to remember this stuff in my head. Like, did they kill him? Like, all this stuff going on. I'm like trying to remember all this history before.
No, they just got him
So I can get the
manipulated with
answer.
poontang, as
With Dakota fan.
Cliff Booth would say it.
Cliff Booth.
Cliff Booth.
That's my new YouTube name, Cliff Booth.
Booth.
We want to do a verdict?
Sure. Yeah.
It wasn't bad. I don't want to give it unsinkable because I don't think it was. I think it was still too long. I think it was too long to give it an unsinkable. The story was great though. So, again, I think I've said it in the past 4 episodes. We need that little middle between Taking on Water and Unsinkable because I think it's right there. It's a 3 out of 4.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
I think it's just too long to be unsinkable. I'd watch it again. That the rewatchability is there.
Yeah.
And I think there's potential.
Just fast forward through Margot Robbie sitting in a movie theater.
Exactly. Maybe they'll have a different cut, but 3 out of 4. Not quite unsinkable.
Well, seeing how we don't have a middle one officially designated yet, I'm still gonna go with Unsinkable. It didn't feel like 3 hours to me. It felt long, but it didn't feel 3 hours.
Maybe it's because I was tired before we even got there, so maybe that was why it felt so long.
Probably. I enjoyed myself the entire time. You know, there were scenes that probably didn't need to be there, but those 20-minute cutscenes just for a flashback was just as enjoyable as the regular movie.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, Brad and Leo together in this film, unsinkable. Quentin Tarantino proves himself to be a great director and story writer once again.
Here, I'll do you one better. The final fight scene was unsinkable. How about that?
Okay.
I'll give the final fight scene an unsinkable because I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh shit. Oh.
Brad Pitt tripping on acid was
Oh.
hilarious too.
Sorry, I know we did verdict, but did you notice his dog was a guy and his name was Brandy? Did you notice that? I was like, wait a second. That's a dude.
That's pretty funny. Well, yeah, I would say this solid
His wife's name
Tarantino
was
flick.
Brandy.
Oh.
Was it?
I don't know,
Maybe
it's
his
a
wife's
wonder.
name was Brandy.
I mean, for all I know, there could have been more scenes that were filmed
That were cut.
Yeah. I was surprised. I actually was thinking we were going to see that scene later. Like, they were going to go back to the scene where he kills his wife. Like, it might have been important because they talked about it. Then they showed the beginning of it and him, like, gearing up to murder his wife. But then he didn't do it.
So
I was kind of wondering, like, is that going to come back to play?
flashback where he's just sitting there, and you can tell he's holding the harpoon gun.
Yeah, he put on the goggles. Cracked open the beer.
He's just staring at her
splashed on
like
his
he's
face.
just
It
holding the
was so
harpoon like he's
hilarious.
just pointing right at her.
Murder's
Alright.
not funny.
All right, murder is not fun.
Just
Anything else?
nope. Until next time.
All right, see you guys later.